This edition of the Games of 90 is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. Well, actually, it's my third biggest guilty pleasure if you watched my top 5 guilty pleasures video, which is on Vimeo, and if you just watched the Q&A. It's time to talk about the adult version of Funhouse, College Madhouse.
These are students from some of America's finest colleges and universities showing exactly what they learn every week on the game called College Madhouse. This week's challengers, the Razorbacks of the University of Arkansas and the Longhorns of the University of Texas.
College Madhouse was a spinoff of the popular Funhouse. Hosted by Greg Kinnear, it was the same as Funhouse, but instead of 2 teams of 2 kids, this team had 2 teams of 4 college students from rival schools playing games that are similar to the ones played on Funhouse, but some have a bit of an adult tinge to them. While it might have seemed out of place for the college students to play on a variant of a kids game show, I will say this, that believe it or not, College Madhouse actually improved on what Funhouse was, at least in some aspects. However, I will be perfectly honest and say one of the biggest downgrades that the show had was instead of J.D. Roth, we had Greg Kinnear.
Here's the Dean of College Madhouse, Greg Kinnear.
Thank you. Well, this week and every week on College Madhouse, teams from 2 of America's top finest universities and colleges compete in a battle of course, brains and brawn, featuring some fairly outrageous physical stunts, I think you'll agree, and some very challenging questions at the end of the game. The winning team gets to run through our College Madhouse, strategically located right behind me, win some prizes for themselves and some scholarship money for their individual school.
For those thinking that Talk Soup was Greg Kinnear's big break, well, you're wrong. His first big break came to hosting College Madhouse. It's here where he showed off some of his acting chops. The first batch of episodes, he acted like a first-timer hosting a show. After that, he hosted like he was a fraternity leader, and a disinterested one at that. It's not a bad thing, mind you, but it's not really conducive to hosting a game show, or at least being a good one at that. However, for the college atmosphere that the show purports, being too cool for school kind of fits. I still would prefer J.D. Roth, though, but seeing as how the contestants would be older than J.D. himself, I could understand the Kinnear move. Instead of 2 beautiful cheerleaders, which would fit more of the show, we get our 2 referees in Donna and Richard. I honestly have no idea why they're there. If they kept the cheerleaders' job and kept score and everything, it would have been fine. However, they made them act goofy, especially Richard, who had to double as the roommate from hell in the madhouse. And that was a big mistake. They should have just kept the cheerleaders ahead and wear the school sweaters of the teams. That would increase the atmosphere of the college competition, would improve the show in my eyes. If you've seen Funhouse and their stunt round, you now know what College Madhouse's stunt round is. Each stunt is worth 25 points, and the question afterwards is worth 25 points. But the adult version did add a few things to spice up the competition, so to speak. The variations for the show are minute, but do make use of the 4-people teams. For instance, a lot of the events would have 2, 3, or utilize all 4 people in the team, with relay-style events being quite prevalent in the show's run. Most of the games would be exact ports of Funhouse games, especially those involving soda. For example, I've seen this certain bucket challenge where the contestants had to spray soda into the periscope buckets on Funhouse years ago. Also, the questions used for the post-stunt are the same level on Funhouses, so there's no real stretch. The biggest thing the show added was the pool. Because the first half of the season used the first season set, the Funhouse didn't have a pool, and the small water patch that they had didn't count. So to do water events, they built a pool right near the studio audience. Now most of the events at the pool were relay style, so it fit with the theme. I'm also under the assumption that the producers of the show wanted to see those young, nubile college students all wet and in more intimate positions that you could get away with on syndication. So that's why this was invented, and equal eye candy was had for everyone. After 3 events, we go to the Madhouse Finals. Now, instead of a race around the track, both teams competed in a 90-second speed round all of the Shopper's Challenge round on Shop Till You Drop. Greg would give the category for the day and then fire off as many questions as he could. The teams all get in a line and one at a time step up to the buzzer. The first person to buzz in with the correct answer gets 25 points and gives the other team a little penalty, usually in the form of a pie in the face. At the end of 90 seconds, the team in the lead wins the game and gets to run through the Madhouse. So now we're at the Madhouse itself, and to be honest, this is where the show really shines. The Madhouse looks just like the Funhouse, but with different names. For example, the tubular tunnel was called the Campus Grill in the second version of the house, and in the first season, the swimming hole Balloon Lagoon was called Hot Tub Heaven. Also in the Madhouse, there are a couple rooms that become staples in the Fox version of Funhouse, namely the Zapateria. In that room, a contestant from the losing team would fling whipped cream and whatnot at a person running in the house while they grabbed the cash tags. What differs from the Madhouse is how the collection of tags works. In Funhouse, one person runs to the Funhouse and grabs 3 tags from anywhere in the house. After they grab 3, they must come out and tag their partner. They repeat the process until 2 minutes are up, and hope they get the secret power prize where they win the vacation. It's fun, but the randomness of where the power prize is usually wears down on me, especially in the second house where the tag would be in a place where they usually don't go to, i.e. inside the captain's cabin or on the paddle wheel. The Madhouse, however, has one member of the team grabbing as many tags as they can in 30 seconds. After 30 seconds are up, the second member in line gets to go in and get as many tags as they can. They continue like that until all 4 members of the team have had 30 seconds, or they grab all 13 tags that are in the Madhouse. If they grab all 13 tags, they clean house and win the grand prize, which is usually a trip. This is a much fairer version, and it took me less time to write than the Funhouse version. Also, it gives the other teammates a fair roadmap on where to go in the house and grab the remaining tags, so thumbs up. While it was still a good show, the show was destined not to last. For starters, it was in weekly syndication during a time where game shows didn't last at all. Unless your name was American Gladiators, you weren't going to be big. Also, it was a bad time for Stone Productions as a whole. For starters, not only was College Madhouse gone by September of 1990, but Freddy's Nightmares, the Nightmare on Elm Street TV series, was canceled, and Funhouse would be gone from syndication as well, but would find a home on Fox. The Fox version of Funhouse is another story for another day. And that's the story of College Madhouse, but please don't feel sorry for any of the actors involved. Greg Kinnear, for example, would become a big A-list Hollywood star, starring in great films such as As Good as It Gets and Step Brothers, which is a very underrated comedy. Now, Scott Stone, on the other hand, the producer of the show, would meet a fellow producer in David G. Stanley, hook up, and produce a lot of great shows, such as Shop Till You Drop, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Shop Till You Drop, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Whatever. But getting back to that Stone-Stanley partnership, together, with their powers combined, their first show produced together was Fox's Funhouse. And we'll be talking about that show next month. Until next time, bye-bye!